Welcome students. In this video, we will discuss about circular linked list. So far what we have been looking into is called a singly linked list. I have never mentioned this name singly linked list before. Whatever we have completed so far is called as singly linked list, which means that what is singly linked list? A singly linked list in node, only the address of the next node will be available in every node. So only one way you can able to move from first node to second node to third node to fourth node. You will not be able to come back again to third node because address of this node is not available here. Only address of the next node is available. So you are able to move in a forward direction. So only you are having single address. You are having the address of the next node, single address you have. So that is why it is called a singly linked list. So whatever we have seen so far is called as singly linked list. Okay, fine. Then okay, this is going to be circular linked list. What is circular linked list? It's very simple. Circular linked list, when the last node of the linked list, when the last node of the linked list, if it is again connected back to the first node, if it is again connected back to the first node. So there are two kinds of linked list we have now. The before one, whatever we have seen so far, is a linear linked list. It was a linear linked list. Linear linked list means some node will be having null. One of the node of the linked list will be having null at the next part. But here there is no null available. So this cannot be called as linear. This is called as circular, because after certain point again it is visiting a same node. So this is circular. There is no starting node, there is no ending node, because there is, see, no point of calling something a head node. There is no point in calling something as first node, because when you start from this node also, you will be able to reach every node. When you're able to start from this node called as having data 45 also, you will be able to visit every node. So there is no point of calling some node as head node. Any node from the linked list can be called as a head node for circular linked list, and there is no end node also. There is no end node also for circular linked list. So we will take one of the node, take the address of one of the node, and we will take that as a head node. So any node you can take it as head node. You will be able to access all the elements, and also you will be able to access all the nodes of the linked list. Okay, fine. So for creating circular linked list, is there anything else that I need to do extra? With already I have seen one create method. Is there anything extra I need to do? Yes, only one thing that you need to do. After creating a singly linked list, last node next, what you do is you take the address of, already you will be having the address of some node as a head node. So whichever you consider as a head node, take the address of that node and place it in the last node next pointer, so that it will become a circular linked list. That's the only step that we are going to add with the existing create function that we have. Okay, by taking the address of one node, which we call it as a head node, which we probably we assumed as a first node, we'll take the address of that node and we will place it in the last node next pointer to next node. So automatically it becomes a circular linked list. Okay, fine. Now we will be discussing how to display that linked list. Now if a circular linked list is created, how to display that? Already we know how to display a linear linked list. We know how to display a linear linked list, but how to display circular linked list? Is there any difference that is going to be there? Yes, definitely there is a great difference between printing a normal linear linked list and a circular linked list. I'll tell you. For example, first of all, we will take a function called as display, void, and the name of the function is display. And to traverse all the nodes in the linked list, I want to know the address of at least any one of the node of this circular linked list. So the address of any one of the node from the circular linked list, let us take that as a head node. Okay, so struct node, okay, struct node star and we'll take a pointer called as head. Okay, we will take a no we will take a pointer called as head. Okay, now inside this function called as head, inside the header called as inside the function called as display. Now what we need to do, if I want to move from this header to the next node, if I want to move from this node to next node, I have to do head equal to head of next. But I'm not going to affect this node because the address of this head node is very important. Okay, let me keep it safe, and let me take one more pointer called as temp, struct node star temp, and whereas this temp pointer will be taking the address of that head node of circular linked list. Now, the next thing that I will do is I will now move temp pointer to next node. So temp is equal to temp of next. So this syntax will take temp pointer from first node to second node. Again, if I execute the same syntax again, same statement again, it will be moving from second node to third node. Once again, if it is executed, it will move to fourth node. Once again executed, it will move to fifth node. Once again, if it is executed, see here 200, again it will come back to the head node. So I should keep on be traversing, and when I again meet the head node again, I can stop the process. It is not like the previous linear linked list. There is no null keyword here. I will not be able to find any null. I cannot say temp not equal to null as a condition. The new condition that we are going to specify here for this, for circular linked list, is we'll be taking a while loop. Okay, so we'll take a while loop with a condition, because this movement of temp, moving temp from one node to next node, will have to happen not for one time, it will be happening for multiple times. So that's why I'm writing it inside while loop. Now while, what's a condition? If temp pointer, if it is again equal to head pointer, I need to stop. So while temp not equal to head, I need to be continuing the process. While temp is not equal to head, I will continue. If temp and head becomes equal, then I need to be stopping the process. Okay, and before moving from one node to another node, we need to print the data and we are going to move it, because this is a display function, right? So before moving from one node to another node, we have to be displaying it. So printf %d space, then what it is going to be, we will be printing temp of data. We'll be printing temp of data. But giving a condition temp not equal to head inside this while, I think there is going to be a problem. There is going to be an issue. What is the problem exactly? What is the problem exactly? The problem will be, initially when you start, you will be starting from head node, right? That when you start, that pointer temp and head both are equal. See here, I'm taking address of head and I'm assigning it to temp. So temp and head are equal. Initially it is equal. So I check, first time when I check, it becomes false. I come out of while loop process, even it will not be initiated at all. It will not even be initiated. So what to do? Here do while loop will be helping us. Why do we use a do while loop? When we want to do certain task, before checking the condition, then we will be using do while. So before, for the very first time, before checking temp not equal to null, I should do this print of temp of data, and one time I need to move. After one time I move, then I can start checking whether temp not equal to head or not. So let me take a while condition and let me do write do. So do block will be executed first and then followed by while condition, semicolon. Yes. So now first time temp and head will be pointing to first node. Do, I will enter do block. Temp of data 10 will be printed, and then temp equal to temp of next, I will be moving to the next the second node which is having data 23. Okay. Now from here on you can start checking whether temp is not equal to null. If temp not equal to null, I can continue. If temp becomes equal to head, when temp is equal to head, again at some point of time again stop the process. Yes, this is the procedure for displaying all the elements of circular linked list in iterative approach. Okay, in the iterative approach. Now the same iterative approach, now we will just speak of the recursive approach also. We will speak about the recursive approach also. Okay, fine. So now next thing is, let me take another function to do the recursive procedure of displaying a circular linked list. So let me take void R display, which is recursive display of circular linked list, right? So now hereafter, okay, I'll take this as, because already we have a display function for singly linked list. So let us take this as CLL, circular linked list. This also R display CLL, circular linked list. Okay, fine. A parenthesis inside which we have to be taking all the uh, arguments. Okay, so here two pointer we are going to take here. One pointer is going to be head, the other another pointer is going to be temp. One is for traversing purpose, one is for checking whether temp and head are becoming equal or not. So address of the head node is very important. So let me take struct node star head. This is one parameter. Next parameter is struct node star temp. Okay, fine. Now entering into this recursive function, first thing that comes into my mind is the base condition. Okay, first thing that comes into my mind is a base condition. What's a base condition? Base condition is condition that is going to either continue or stop the recursive. That's a recursion. Stop the recursion. Either going to continue or stop recursion. Okay, fine. Initially head and temp both will be taking the address of first node. Okay, now same problem comes here also. I cannot directly check if temp is not equal to head, because initially temp and head are equal. Initially temp and head are equal. For that, see, first time head and temp both will be same, so I cannot directly check if temp not equal to head, because the condition will become false at the first comparison itself. To make it possible, I'm going to introduce a technique. I'm going to introduce a flag variable and set that flag variable to 0. Okay, after that flag is going to be 0 first time of entering. Okay, I'll tell you, first time of entering your flag will be equal to 0. So when you're entering for the first time into the function, if flag is equal to 0, if flag is equal to 0, what it means? You are entering for the first time, which means now it is a head node that you are going to point. Temp is pointing to head node. So either flag equal to 0, or otherwise temp not equal to null, sorry, temp not equal to head. Okay, yes. Now with the help of flag, what I'm going to do, I'm going to check whether temp is pointing to head node or not. If flag is 0, then temp is pointing to head node. Now entering inside, first time of entering flag will be equal to 0. So flag equal to 0, condition true, I will enter inside. First thing that I will do is I will change flag to 1, because one time for the very first node, if I enter inside this function, automatically flag will be converted to 1. Flag will be changed to 1. Now what happened? If flag is 1, then automatically hereafter you can say that whatever node that you are going to visit hereafter is not the first node. Okay, fine. So flag is equal to 1 is first thing that I will change, and the next thing that I will do is I will print the present data. So printf percentage d space comma temp of data I will be printing. Temp of data I will be printing, and after printing temp of data I will be recursively calling the same function, because see here the value of temp is changing. the value of temp is changing. So I will call the same function or display CLL. I'll call the same function or display CLL, and instead of temp I will be passing temp of next as the argument. So first argument is going to be head, and the next argument, second argument, is going to be temp of next. It is going to be temp of next, right? Fine. So this condition, if this condition is true, then I will enter inside, flag will be changed to 1, and we'll print the data, and then I will recursively call the same function with temp of next. But there is still one more problem that we have. The problem is, whenever a recursive call is made, again you will come to first line, again flag 0 will be executed. So every time flag will be initialized to 0. So every time this condition will become true. Okay, but what I wanted is, I wanted this variable to be initialized only once. I want flag to be initialized exactly for only once, and that too at the first time of entrance. See, first time when you call this R display CLL, at that point of time alone, this statement should be working. What I need to do? Either flag equal to 0 have to be outside the function, it should be a global variable. It should be a global variable, or otherwise, if it should be inside this function, then I have to make it as a static variable. Whereas static variable will be initialized only at the first time of entering into the function. Okay, fine. So flag equal to 0 will be initialized only at the time of you enter first time into this function. Second time if you are entering again, if second time if you are calling, this will not be working again. That's what the advantage of static keyword. Okay, fine. So now things will be working fine. Now things will be working fine. Okay, now let us take this recursive code and let us trace it. Let us trace it with the help of main memory. Okay, so I'll just take that recursive code, and now let me take main memory, and then we will just trace it. Okay, so this is actually main memory, and main memory will be having three parts. Part 1, the topmost part, then middle part, and the bottom part. And the topmost part is called as heap memory. The topmost part is called as heap memory. This middle part is going to be called as stack memory. It is called as stack memory. And the bottommost part is actually called as code section. It is called as code section. Fine. Now we know very well that whenever a function is called, activation record will be created inside stack memory. So first time of calling, what will be the value for head and temp? So first of all, we will create an activation area for the first time of calling R display CLL. So activation record will be created inside stack memory. Activation record will be created inside stack memory. How many block we require? We require two memory block. We require two memory block. Okay, so we will create two memory block. Block 1, and also we will create a second memory block also. Yes, block 2. Now first block we can name it as head. First block we will name it as head, and the second block we will name it as temp. We will name it as temp. Both will be taking the address of the head node. So what is the address of head node? 200 here. So we will just take 200 in terms of both head and temp initially while calling. Okay, fine. So now we can start execution from first line. What's the first line? It is a static int flow flag equal to 0. So whenever you create a static, whenever you declare a static variable, that static variable memory will not be created inside stack memory is very important. That static variable will be created inside a code section. So global variable and static variable will be always created inside this code section, which is directly accessible from any of this activation records. From any of the activation record inside stack, this particular like variables inside code section can be directly accessed. Because for global variable, for static variable, there is going to be only one copy. It is not like for every step, for every activation record, the variable will not be again created. For every activation record, memory block will not be again and again created. It will be one time created in the code section. So first line static int flag is created. It will be created inside this code section, and the name of this variable is going to be flag. And what's the value that we are giving here? 0. Fine. What's the next thing? I'm checking if flag equal to 0, or I think there is something called a short circuit. Coming to OR logical operator, at least one condition have to be true, evaluated to true. When the first condition is evaluated to true, no need of checking right side condition, because already one condition is true. When one condition is true, then OR operator will be evaluated to true. So when the left side condition is true, I can stop here. I will not be checking whether temp not equal to head or not. So flag equal to 0 is a true condition. So I will enter inside. Whereas I'm changing the value of static variable flag to 1. So this flag value 0 will be now changed to 1. Then what's the next statement? Printing temp of data. Temp is referring to address 200, and what's the data there? It is 10. So first time of asking 100 will be printed. Sorry, it's 10, right? 10 will be printed. After printing 10, there is a recursive call for which a separate activation record will be created on top of existing activation record, inside which again we will require two different block for head and temp. So let me create two block. Okay, one block name is going to be head, the next block name is going to be temp. So it is going to be head, and the next block is going to be having the name temp. So what you are passing instead of head and temp? Head you are passing the same value, so which is going to be 200 again. But instead of temp, what you are passing, instead of temp you are passing temp of next, which is 200 of next. So let us check what is 200 of next. 200 of next is 300. So now this will be taking 300, temp will be taking 300. Okay, fine. Now I will enter to first line. First line, what is there? Static int flag, which will not be again initialized because already flag is created. Already the block, already a block, memory block for flag is created. When already there exists a memory block with the name flag, again it will not be working. Again it will not be executing. That is what the advantage of static, which is handled by the compiler in the background level. So one time already if there exists a variable with the same name inside code section, again it will not execute that line. Okay, where the same variable again it has to be declared, no way, because already we have the same variable name for a different memory block. It is also initialized with some value. So when in the code section already there exists a variable with the same name, again that static keyword, so when a static keyword is given, then the compiler will automatically check code section whether is there any variable with the name flag. If there is, so there we, if we find a memory block with the name flag, then this statement will not be working. So now flag equal to 0 is not going to work. Then I will enter to if statement, where flag equal to 0 is not a true condition hereafter. So flag equal to 0 will be true only for the first node. So first node is the exception. We no need of checking temp not equal to head for the first node alone, because first node we know very well that head and temp is going to be equal. Fine. Now this condition flag equal to 0 is not a true condition. So I will go to right side condition. Temp not equal to null. Yes, temp is 200, temp is 300, head is 200. Both are not equal. So right side condition is actually evaluated to true. So I wanted to enter inside this condition. conditional statement. So now inside which I again have flag equal to 1. Okay, the value 1 will be again overwritten here, and then the next one is temp of data will be printed. What is 300 of data? We'll check. 300 of data is 23. So after 10, I will be printing 23, and then what is the next line? A recursive call. So for the recursive call, I have to be creating one activation record on top of the existing activation record, inside which I wanted one block referring to head, the other block is going to be temp. So one is head, the other block name is going to be temp. Now instead of head, what you are passing, same value you are passing, which is 200. So head will be again having taking 200, but instead of temp you are passing temp of next, which means 300 of next. What is 300 of next? It is 220. So 220 will be the value of temp now. Yes, again I will come to first line static, this statement will not be working. Then again I will come for conditional statement, that flag equal to 0 or temp not equal to head. Flag equal to 0 is not a true condition, but temp not equal to head is a true condition. 200 not equal to 220. So when one of the condition is evaluated to true, then we enter inside and we will execute these three statements. So flag equal to 1, already 1, so we will again overwrite it with 1. Next line, printing the value of temp of data, which is 220 of data. So 220 of data is 45. So after printing 23, we have to be printing, what is the value? What is the value here? Value is 45. So after printing 23, we need to be printing 45. Now after printing, what is the next line? Recursive call. So create a activation record instead of this recursive call. This activation record will be having two memory blocks, for one for head, the other is for temp. So two memory blocks that I am creating, one is taking the name head, the other one is going to take temp as a name. Okay, what you're passing while you're calling, you're passing the same head value, which means it is again going to take 200. Instead of temp, you are passing temp of next, which is 220 of next. 220 of next is 280. 280. So temp will be taking 280. Okay, it will be taking 280. Fine. Now again from first line I will be starting. What's first line? Again static, it will not be working. Again if condition, flag equal to 0 is a false condition, or temp not equal to head is a true condition. 200 not equal to 280 is a true condition. So I have to enter inside where flag is equal to 0. Oh, okay, it will be overwritten with 1. Then printing value of temp of data, which is 280 of data. So whereas 280 of data is actually 56. 280 of data is 56. So 56 will get printed after 45. So after 45, 56 will get printed. After printing 56, what's the next line? Recursively calling the same function with a different argument. Okay. So recursively calling the same function, which means one more activation record will be created for the recursive call, whereas it will be taking two memory block. Okay, so two memory block, and one is going to take the name head, the other one is going to take the name temp. So the name of first block is going to be head, and the name of second block is going to be temp. Okay, fine. What is the value that you're passing while calling? You're passing head and temp of next. Whereas head means the same value of head, which is 200 will be taken, and temp of next, which is 280 of next. What is 280 of next? Is having 100. So now temp will be taking 100. Okay, so temp will be now taking 100. Okay, now again from first line, the static this line will not be working because already we have a variable called as flag. Next line is if flag equal to 0, flag equal to 0 is a false condition, but temp not equal to null, 200 not equal to 100 is a true condition. So I will enter flag overwritten with 1 again, then again temp of data will be printed. So what is 100 of data? 100 of data is 78. So 78 will be printed now. So 78 will be printed. After printing 78, again the same function will be recursively called. Okay, so one more activation record we will be creating. So one more activation record inside which we will be taking two memory block, one for head, the another one is for temp. So the name of the first memory block, it is going to be head, and the name of the second memory block, it is going to be temp. Now while calling, what is the value of head and temp you are passing? Instead of head, what is the value being passed? Instead of head, 200 is passed again. Instead of temp, it is temp of next which is passed. So 100 of next. So what is 100 of next? 100 of next is 200. So temp will be now taking the value 200. Yes. Now again, starting from first line, flag equal to 0 will not be done. It will not be executed. Then conditional. Flag is okay. It is equal to 0 is a false condition. Next condition, temp not equal to null. It becomes a false condition because temp and head are now both equal. 200, 200 equal. So both the conditions are evaluated to false, so that I will not enter into if block. I'll come out of if. Coming out of if, I only see the close curly braces of or display CLL. So when close curly braces of a function is executed, then that respective activation record will be deleted. And after deleting, we will enter into the next immediate activation record. For all the activation record up to this R display CLL was executed. Am I right? So after that, is there any line to be executed? No, there is no other lines after the recursive call. If after recursive call we have any line, then that line will be executed at the time of deleting activation record. But here there are no lines after recursive call, so nothing will be executed at the returning phase, or otherwise called as descending phase. So no need of checking for anything. Can directly start deleting each and every activation area one by one. Delete, then enter into next. Delete this and then enter into next. Delete and then enter into next. Delete it and then enter into next activation record. Delete it. So finally all the activation area deleted, execution stopped. At the time of execution, even the code copied here in the code section and the flag variable, everything will be deallocated completely. It will be deallocated from the main memory. Yes. Okay, fine. So what we have done in this video is we took the concept of circular linked list. Okay, we took the concept of circular linked list where we saw what is circular linked list. Circular linked list, first of all, it is a singly linked list we have taken. So it is a singly and circular linked list. Circular linked list is, see, one of the node of linked list will be again connected back to one of the node again. So one node will be visited twice. Okay, there is there is nothing called as first node last node here, because from any node you will be travel to any node you will be able to travel to any other node. You will be able to visit all the other nodes. So there is nothing called as first node last node. You can start from any node. So whichever we are assuming is going to be the head node here. So head node will be again, it will be linked at certain point again. So you will be visiting head node again and again. Okay, so it is like a circular one. Circular, it is like a circular because the last node is connected to the first node again. There's nothing called as last node, but whichever node is connecting again to the first node, we are calling it as a last node. That's it. So last node will be again connected to first node. Don't think that this is the last node. I just simply to make you understand, I'm just claiming that this is the last node. There is nothing called as first node. There is nothing called as last node. To make the definition clear, I'm just making the statement. Okay, fine. And also we did discuss about the iterative approach of displaying all the elements of circular linked list, and also the recursive approach of the same also we did, and also the tracing of the recursive code through main memory is also done properly. Now in the next video we will go for implementation of both these approaches, and in the subsequent video we will do time and space complexity analysis of this methodology also. Fine. Okay, thank you students.